Tariffs are starting to smash the sports card market, with some prices expected to rise 50% or more in the upcoming weeks. And today we have updated information, new information from PSA on how they will be responding. We're going to break it all down for you now. Hello, sports card investors, and welcome to another episode of Cards on the Table. Teapot Doug, we got a lot to get into today. We have debut patches coming to WWE. We've got a basketball card that could break the all-time record for the most expensive sports card ever sold that is heading to auction. And we got more news. But today we're starting with the ugly, ugly topic of tariffs. And look, I want to be clear to the audience. We don't cover politics on this show. No. We're not going to get into a political discussion about whether tariffs are good or bad or what that means. We're staying away from that. But it is becoming very clear now that tariffs are affecting or will soon affect the pocketbooks of sports card collectors watching this show, as well as our pocketbooks as well. So here's what we are finding out right now. And I want to, first of all, credit Ben Burrows at Collect, did some great reporting on this. Neo Cards and Comics did a great video on this. And I've talked to some people after that as well to get some additional information on what is going on. The thing that is first and foremost going to be affected, that just about everybody is going to feel very soon, are supplies. We have confirmation that a lot of supplies in the hobby, from top loaders to penny sleeves to binders to cases, are, of course, made in China. And China's got these huge tariffs right now, which, even though the rest of the tariffs have been temporarily paused, those ones, at least as of the recording this video, remain. And what this is causing is immediate price hikes that are coming into the fold right now. I'm being told that major companies like Ultra Pro, BCW, that you can be expecting the prices of supplies to rise at least 33 to 50% starting in the next couple of weeks. Those price rises are already starting to filter through. You've got companies like Zion Cases that is currently evaluating the situation, and a lot of other companies of hobby supplies that are evaluating but are probably going to have to take hikes. I know this firsthand because I own part of Stand Up Displays, and Dan, the CEO and founder of Stand Up Displays, and I have been talking just about every day about what he's seeing when it comes to him bringing in the parts and pieces for his card stands, for his custom printed magnetic card holders. And right now he's got enough in inventory where he's able to head off price increases, but he believes that should this continue, he's facing significant price increases perhaps to his customers as well. So supplies is undoubtedly going to hit consumers' wallets soon. Yeah. We don't know about the card manufacturing. Topps has refused to comment. Panini has refused to comment. Upper Deck has not commented. As far as I've seen, no one has commented, and they've chosen not to, right? So we don't know. I know a lot of the printing takes place in the U.S. Topps has their big facility in Dallas. Panini was printing their cards in the U.S. as well. But where does some of the underlying, where does the paper come from? Where do the boxes come from? Does some of that come from China? I don't know. So we'll see in the upcoming weeks if things are starting to happen there in terms of price increases. Grading. So I just got a brand new update from PSA. PSA, in response to all of this a couple of weeks ago, shut down direct submissions internationally. So people, unfortunately, in a lot of other countries who want to send their cards to California to have PSA grade them, PSA said no. That was about 2 weeks ago. Well, I just talked to PSA this morning because now, of course, a lot of those tariffs are paused temporarily. And I said, are you going to open back up? And they said no. They said there's too much uncertainty. They said there's also tariffs that those countries put in place, against the U.S., reciprocal tariffs, and in some cases those countries still have those tariffs in place. So they're dealing with that situation. There's a lot of complexity. There's a lot of confusion. So what PSA is doing right now is they're recommending that people in other countries who want to submit use a PSA authorized bulk submitter in their country. And PSA is trying to find ways, working directly with those bulk submitters, to get them to be able to get cards in for grading that aren't subject, or at least not as subject perhaps to the tariffs, but it's all in flux. So you cannot directly submit to PSA, and it sounds like that's not going to change anytime soon. Now, PSA, of course, has an international expansion strategy. They opened up an office in Japan. Soon, one's coming in Germany. I imagine that will help, because they'll eventually have local offices in multiple places. I know they're working on improving their Canada operations as well, but some of that stuff's a ways away. So the reality at the moment is it's becoming harder for international collectors to grade. Those are just some of the immediate reactions and implications we've seen. I'm a little worried about what this all means for sports cards, and if it's going to curb spending on sports cards as people see prices go up for things like supplies, which they're used to buying. Teapot, how concerned are you, and where do you see this playing out specifically when it comes to the sports card market?
Obviously, we've seen big stock market dips in response to the tariffs, the implementation of the tariffs, and then we saw it bounce back after all but the Chinese ones were lifted or paused, and now we've seen a big dip today as of recording this video. So, but typically the stock market itself doesn't correlate to the card market overall, just like what card prices sell for. We have enough data now in our SCI 500 for 5 years to look at that and analyze that and say there's really no correlation, more or less, between those two things. The bigger issue comes when just discretionary income overall is impacted, and that comes from inflation, which we've seen for the last 4 or 5 years on a lot of just basic consumer goods, as well as, unemployment would be a big concern. If companies, especially big companies, just start having to go through layoffs, if you don't have an income at all for a period of time, you're probably not going to be buying sports cards. So those are the things that I think they tend to be a lagging, indicator relative to something like this, but could be a real problem overall. I would have a concern, and it sounds like they do, as a card supplier or somebody that's doing manufacturing, whether it's the physical manufacturing overseas in China or supplies, materials coming from that country. At the same time, part of Ben's article said that I think it was the owner of Cardboard Gold, said he's just in wait and see mode still. Yep. He's just pause, let's not overreact too quickly, put the cart before the horse. It is a little freaky, but at the same time, we already saw a lot of tariffs lifted. And this does seem like a bit of a game of international trade chicken, of who's going to do what. And at some point, there's, I think, not to make too many avian references, but what's good for the goose is good for the gander. So I don't think anybody, our leaders or other countries, are interested in completely bankrupting their countries. So hopefully this can all get settled out and it doesn't have too much of a long-term impact on what we're doing. I'm just kind of in wait and see mode, while being very sensitive to the fact that some people are already feeling the burn and impact of it.
Yeah, all good points. Doug, how are you reacting to all of this, and how do you worry that you might be paying double for those top loaders in a couple of weeks here?
Not necessarily, but then again, I don't really know how to react to this. I can only go off the information that I'm either reading or conversations that I've had with people within the industry. And what I gather is that short term, whatever that means, things will be pretty much okay. But I don't know, again, I don't know what short term means. Is that just through the end of this year? Does it extend longer than that? Is it shorter than that? But it's, we're kind of in this, and it probably means something different depending on how large your business is. Somebody like Dan with maybe a smaller business than Cardboard Gold, maybe short term is only a few months compared to a year. So I think every individual case is going to have to be treated separately, but there's no real workaround for this. Unless the tariffs either get greatly reduced or go away, there's nothing they can do about it. You can't move this manufacturing back to the U.S., at least not quickly. It would take years to do so. Fact of the matter is, China's been working on this, production for decades, and they're the world's leader in plastic production. We can't replicate that in any short amount of time. So we're at the mercy of tariffs, and we're seeing it outside of just supplies as well. I mean, you talked about PSA. I've seen it with other companies like ComC as well. But just yesterday, I was going to buy a card on eBay, and looking through the pictures of the card, the last slide was text that said, due to tariffs, the shipping cost on this is $45 because it was coming from China. Yeah. So I can't even buy cards for what I want. I mean, the card was like $50. I'm going to have to pay $45 for shipping. So, yeah, we're definitely seeing the impact. It's not very fun, and I hope it gets resolved sooner rather than later for everybody's sake, obviously.
Have it shipped to the Philippines, repackaged, and sent to.
There you go. The manufacturing thing is, an interesting point, right? So we actually, like, and I'll talk for stand-up displays, we used to manufacture quite a bit in the US, but it was a lot more expensive, and honestly, we got a lower quality product.
Yeah.
We switched manufacturing to China. Our price went down dramatically, and the product quality went up dramatically. So, I mean, honestly, even at 150% tariff, I don't know if that's going to be enough to shift our manufacturing back to the US.
No, it would be totally cost prohibitive. It would go up.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like damned if you do, damned if you don't in that type of situation, right? And so it's a tough problem. I feel bad for the small businesses like stand-up displays that are now facing, potential significant price increases. And then what will that mean in terms of their revenue and in terms of their customer loyalty and everything like that? There's definitely some uncertainty. I'll tell you from the perspective of a card shop owner at Cards HQ, this last 6 months has been awesome for the sports card market. We have been busy as can possibly be. And of course, TCG and Pokemon as well. Huge contributor to the success the last 6 months. Super busy. I don't like the thought of anything that could mess with the system at all, that could cause people to clench their wallets a little tighter, that could cause people to think, it's too expensive for me to participate in this now. Like anything that could throw off the equilibrium could potentially, take what has been a hot card market and turn it cold. So I don't like it. I hope I hope all the world leaders can figure some of this stuff out soon. Because, the one thing I think we can all universally agree on, no matter what our politics are, is we would all prefer to be able to hobby at prices that aren't crazy high. Like we prefer the prices right now are already perhaps a bit high for a lot of people. If anything, we'd prefer for them to go down, not the opposite direction. So, okay, that's where we are with tariffs. We got some more big stories to talk about as well, but let's do something a little more fun than worrying about tariffs.
Finally.
Let's rip a couple of slab packs from Arena Club.
No tariffs on these.
No.
Doug, what are we going to rip for you here?
Football. I'm on
Okay,
a football
Emerald
kick right
football?
now. Yeah, this is my football season. When I get, is that
Okay.
Mahomes?
All right.
Mahomes camo.
Okay.
That's going to be low numbered. I can't see the number.
Number
on
to
it. It's like 30
25.
I might
yeah.
have to
25.
start a trade with Doug now.
That is
Okay.
the 2020
Trade
Panini
war.
Prism Camo Mahomes.
I'll take
out of
a
25.
Prism Mahomes out of 25 any day. Yeah.
That is really nice.
I'm excited about that.
That would be good trade bait for a Cards HQ trade night.
No, that'll work. Yeah.
Yeah.
People will be searching for Mahomes. I'll probably already have trade offers sitting there with me.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. T-Paul, what do you got here?
Got a basketball.
All right, let's
we
see
got
what
the
you got.
playoffs starting.
Let's rip it.
Playoffs are here. Oh, my guy Shea.
Oh, yeah.
My guy Shea.
Shay.
My guy Shea.
Let's go.
Is there a better guy?
No, he's
Stay
probably the
tuned.
best possible guy to
Stay
get for the
tuned
playoffs.
for the Market Movers video next Monday because you and I will be talking about his prospects going to the playoffs.
It's almost done.
Premium is stock.
I like that.
Shea
I like that card.
Alexander right before the NBA
I like that
playoffs.
card.
All right, show me what I got. I got a baseball.
Shea. Okay.
Show me what I got. Let's rip it. Let's rip it right now.
Oh, that,
Oh,
you
look
know,
at that.
that's
Corbin.
It's gold.
he's like second in MVP odds.
He's on the up
Are you
this year.
serious?
Who was one?
He's back on the
who
up.
was
He
one
broke out
player?
this- That's nice.
Who
Look at
was
that.
the
That's
one player I said before the season that I was high on was Corbin Carroll.
That
He
is a rookie auto gold. From
Should be out of
Bryant.
50
in a
then.
PSA 10.
Yes.
Those are nice.
I think you probably won that one.
I might have
won
to
that
trade
round.
you that one too.
All
We're
right,
gonna trade.
Arena
We're all
Club.
trading.
Arena Club, good job to you. By the way, you can get in on these slab packs. They're available 24/7 on the Arena Club app. Just download the Arena Club app and then use promo code SCI20 for 20% off your first purchase of an Arena Club slab pack. You can go rip one right now. All kinds of great cards. It's a lot of fun. The Arena Club app, promo code SCI20. Okay, guys, let's hop into our next topic. This one's a little weird. So, Yamamoto, one of the bright young pitchers in baseball, obviously had the opportunity last year to be part of that Dodgers team, be in the World Series, international superstar from Japan. A lot of people are excited about Yamamoto. His one-of-one Superfractor was recently listed on eBay from 2024 Bowman. Huge card, Superfractor Auto. But something's a little weird. First of all, the auto looks completely smudged. It's almost like nearly ruined. Like, how did this happen? The card could, I don't think Topps would have released the card looking like this. So that just seems like, it doesn't seem like Topps would let that get out that way for a Superfractor. That's a little odd. Also, it appears to be stored in a top loader without a protective sleeve. For a Superfractor, possibly not the best thing. The seller who put it on eBay only has a feedback rating of 2. This is, it feels like there's some weird red flags here. T-Bot, when you saw this, what did you make of this?
Well, this is where eBay authenticity guarantee, I think, is nice and comes into play. Okay, all right, I'll wait. I guess all they do is, well, I'll let you fill in the gaps. Maybe I'm missing something. I don't understand why this card wasn't returned to Topps.
Yeah.
If it did come out of the
If
pack
it came out of the
that way.
pack that way, right?
Why wouldn't I wish I could remember what card it was. It was recently there was a big card that went out, and then somebody actually asked in the comments of an Instagram post, like, hey, what's the deal here? This looks like a different card than the one that I saw before. And he said, oh, I actually ripped this and it was damaged out of the pack and sent it to Topps and they replaced it. And it was a Superfractor auto, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, we had the same situation here at
So-
Cards HQ with the Paul Skeens.
Yeah, so
101
is it a
Superfractor.
case where somebody like is just getting into the hobby and doing like all in and ripping big product or doing something, and then they just like don't know anything about the cards, hence no penny sleeve or what might be dime sleeve soon, I don't know. But
Nice. I like it.
Yeah, but so that's I just don't understand the situation, and I guess one of us should just DM the seller and be like, what's going on here? What
No, I'd rather speculate.
I'd
It's way
rather,
more fun.
yeah, I should have done that in advance. But I did see this. This just made me like do this at my desk. I did see on Instagram that Simply High End Cards, who infamously wiped the Otani English auto off the card and had it re-signed in kanji, posted a screenshot that said that he offered $6K on this, and it would have been a kanji wipe job. I don't even like the wording of that, but please
If it
don't do
doesn't
that.
sound good.
Please don't wipe a Superfractor auto and then go get a new auto on it. Just go get the kanji auto on the regular Superfractor if you want to do that. Like, don't do that. Please stop wiping autos. Please stop wiping, okay? No more wiping.
All right.
Interesting.
Doug, what's your take?
All right. So some things have changed since I first learned about the story yesterday.
Okay.
If you go and look at it right now, and this may change by the time this video airs, I don't know. They removed the photos that had the card just in a top loader. Now there's no top loader photo at all. It's just a bare card with a couple of pictures of it in a penny sleeve. The seller, feedback of 2, but they seem to be somewhat real sales. They show up in all the data and market movers and Terapeak that looks like he sold cards and they got paid for. The feedback was automatically generated by eBay. No one actually went in and left feedback, so that's kind of weird. But my favorite part, and this is something I just discovered today, is that card is actually listed twice right now on eBay. It's listed once as the Bowman Superfractor, which it is, and that one has a buy it now of $10,000, and it does not have eBay authenticity guarantee on it.
I thought it was automatic. How would it
So
not?
did I, but it is not shown as an offer for that card.
Is it listed not as a sports
Yeah,
card?
what do they put it in a different category?
I'm not sure. I'd have to go back
All right,
and look.
you keep going. I got to
Sure.
look at this.
So if you look up Topps Chrome Superfractor for the guy, it's the exact same card, exact same seller, and he's got that one at auction. So he's got it listed as Bowman Chrome, buy it now. He's got it listed as Topps Chrome on auction, and it's currently got 9 bids at $1,100 at this time of recording. So he's got the card listed for sale twice, one on auction, one buy it now, totally different titles, one with authenticity guarantee, one without. There's a lot of fun sort of nuances to this story. It's the worst auto I think I've ever seen on a card. It's certainly
Yeah.
a 1 of 1. But yeah, I mean, it doesn't seem like this is totally legit.
Something seems weird.
I'm not accusing the guy of anything, but you got the same card listed twice for sure. That's a guarantee.
I can't even find it now.
Yeah. Oh,
At
maybe
all.
it's been removed. Maybe my notes are 3 hours old.
Oh
So
my goodness.
Something's a little off. Okay.
Weird.
All right. For those of you out there in the YouTube comments, what do you think is going on? Let us know in the YouTube comments. I look forward to hearing your theories for sure. All right, guys, a couple more stories to get into. Before we do, I just want to mention real quick to the audience that for the first time ever, Cards HQ is now live on Fanatics Live. We are breaking 5 days a week on Fanatics Live. If you've never joined the Fanatics Live platform before, we'll give you $25 free that you can use towards one of our breaks. I'll throw a QR code on the screen and a link in the show description below. Join Cards HQ on Fanatics Live. Okay, guys, let's talk about this mega card. So we have a Kobe Bryant, Michael Jordan dual Logoman 1 of 1. This is from 2007 Upper Deck Exquisite. Both patches are game worn. The card in the Jordan patch is a gold NBA Logoman patch because that was worn during the 1996-1997 NBA 50th anniversary season. The Kobe is more of a traditional Logoman patch, which, by the way, I saw a few people on Instagram saying that makes the card so ugly that they would never even want this because
Really?
it, like the fact that one is gold and the other is normal. I don't know. We'll let the audience in the comments see what they have to say about that. But this card, apparently, the story is that Shine, the big card collector, had offered $8 million to the seller of this card, and the seller turned him down and opted instead to send it to Heritage Auctions in an upcoming auction, expecting it to get more than $8 million. And should it get more than $8 million or anywhere close to it, it will become the most expensive basketball card ever sold, which I believe was just shy of $6 million. It will certainly become the most expensive Michael Jordan card ever sold, which is currently $2.9 million. The most expensive Kobe Bryant card ever sold, that's currently $2 million. So it's going to break all kinds of records for sure. There are even some who believe that this card could exceed the $12.6 million all-time sports card record that somebody paid for the 1952 Topps Mickey Mantle SGC 9.5 at Heritage a few years ago. That feels like a lot, but I don't know. Could it happen? Doug, I'll start with you. What's your take on this?
When you recorded the intro, you said this could be the most expensive sports card ever sold, and I almost cut you right there and said you misspoke. You mean basketball card. I was going to make us retake the whole intro and everything, but apparently you didn't misspeak. This is something that someone has said, and I think it's crazy. There's no way this will be the most expensive sports card ever sold. It's an amazing card. It's a dream card for me. We used to, I don't know how many times I've sat on this show and said that I really want a Kobe auto. I really want a Jordan auto. Those are two things I don't have in my collection that I really, really need. And going back to bird references, two birds, one stone, right? I can get the best of both worlds. I think the patches are amazing. They're game-worn patches. That's great. You know, in the age of not associated with anything, we've got game-worn patches. I love the gold 50th year anniversary. I love that it's from the 96-97 season. Like, I think the card's amazing. But I don't think it's an all-timer. Could it be
unless Dick's Sporting Goods buys it.
Unless we get shilled by Dick's or some other,
Yeah.
There's always that possibility. But I mean, I guess I could see this being the most expensive basketball card ever. I think it could be worthy of that. I don't have a huge argument there, but no way this, reaches, all-time levels, right? Right?
I wouldn't think so. What do you think, Teapot?
The card looks fantastic.
Yeah.
Whoever's saying it doesn't is whatever. I don't know. Has some weird OCD or something. But
it's on display at the National. We'll get to see it in person.
yeah.
Oh, cool.
So this is like the insanity of the Logoman patch, though, right? Is you can get a dual auto of Jordan and Kobe. You can get a dual patch auto of those two.
For like 1/100th of the price of what this will sell for.
Yeah, so this is where things just get into that stratosphere of me going, okay, let me add several zeros to my personal net worth to understand the logic behind this, because you could get so many cheaper cards for that price. And there seems to be some narrative getting crafted around this card, in my opinion. And I don't want to, I'm not making, every high-end card gets promoted, marketed, talked up. Some would say hyped or pumped, whatever. That's normal. It happens for every high-end market card that hits the market. But for me personally, I like Logoman patches. I think they're cool. I don't think they're as cool as like a chunky, game-worn, game-dated patch of like the team logo. If I'm a Pistons fan or a Bulls fan or something else, to me that's cooler. But that's not the reality of the market. So I did a video a couple weeks ago reacting to the Skeen sale and specifically the Wemby non-worn by ever anybody anything card sale and put a matrix up of like the tiers from S tier to F tier of the types of patches and how people should view those. This one definitely fits the bill of like that top high end. So
you made that matrix?
Yeah, I made that.
Oh, that's nice. Yeah.
I just put it together. I think it's a good resource for people trying to understand because it's quite the web. But a lot of people come to me and they say, hey, did you see this immaculate Andre Drummond Logoman auto rookie, that's on auction or whatever? And I'll see them, but they're not worth to me what they're worth to like the open market of just Logoman fanatics and people who collect them. So cool card. There's a lot of other ones I would just personally rather have, but I get why people are saying it's a pretty important card.
Well, certainly I'm sure we'll be the talk of the National if it's going to be on display there. So we'll
happy to get to see the most expensive sports card ever.
Who knows? Who knows? It will certainly be fun to see. Okay. One more story today, guys. This is kind of interesting. We had MLB debut patches Obviously, the Paulskins went crazy. Topps and Fanatics then brought the debut patch concept to the MLS. So you have those debut patches. Well, now they have brought them to WWE. We have both Raw and SmackDown will have main roster debut patches, which will be on all superstars making their first main roster appearance. And then, of course, those are all going to end up in one-of-one trading cards. We also are going to have WrestleMania Superstar patches, which will appear on all superstars scheduled for WrestleMania, which I believe is this weekend. So you're going to have those players that are in this weekend's players. Is that the right term? Those fighters, those wrestlers. Those wrestlers that are in WrestleMania this weekend. You'll see them with the patches on them, and all those patches soon to be in one-of-one trading cards. Is this a super cool innovation for fans of WWE, or is this Topps now kind of taking this debut patch concept maybe a little bit too far? What are your thoughts, Teapot?
Just met somebody in the shop yesterday who is big into WWE and was really excited about this. The news had sort of just broken. We heard about the fact that they're having those championship logo or World Series champion logo patches, the gold ones this year on the Dodgers jerseys. So now we're seeing two different offerings in WWE. Some people have speculated about whether, now that the rookie MLB debut patch has been such a hit, if Topps just continues to expand this and expand it into different moments. Like, on the one hand, I say I don't want to see it massively overdone. On the other hand, I'm not sure you can actually overdo this. There's already a ton of relics and player worn and game worn and everything. To get more game dated stuff into the market and have accessibility to some of those, like, it would bring the price, because not every one's going to be the most important thing, like that Logoman or like the MLB debut patches. So they'll probably continue to command a premium until they're really ubiquitous. But my one big question is, I've seen some of those WWE uniforms.
Right. Where's the patch going to go?
Where's the patch going?
I was wondering that too.
Where's the patch going?
I was wondering that.
You have to wear an armband today or something?
Unfortunately, I thought the same thing.
Yeah, do you really want that patch?
Some people do.
I kind of wonder. Doug, what's your take on this?
To each their own, you know. I mean, this makes sense for Topps, though. They should do this for every sport they have a license to make some sort of debut patch, because it's successful for baseball. We've seen how well that's done, and it's going to translate, I think, across all of the properties for those fans. And I'll tell you, you know, I don't think a ton of WWE myself, but at Fanatics Fest, that was one of the biggest events of all of Fanatics Fest. The big WWE setup with, you know, coming out and doing the custom entrances. Their fans were going nuts for that. And even people that weren't really fans of that were getting really into it, really involved. I think, you know, there's a huge base for this. Even though it doesn't appeal to me, I think those people are going to really love something like this. I do wonder, and we've talked about this, of course, if it gets a little excessive outside of the debut patches, outside of MVP patches or championship team patches, then we start getting a little too crazy, and it's like, oh, 300 batting average, 9 strike, whatever. It's just like we start getting crazy with how many patches we put out. But if it's game worn, it's game worn. You can't complain that much about it. And even with this, the WWE thing, it's not exclusive to debut. They have the WrestleMania Superstar patches and some Monday Night Raw patches and things like that. So they're already branching out past debut and having some other stuff. But again, match worn or whatever the case may be, maybe it becomes one of those all-time sort of matches that people will talk about for, you know,
that's true,
for years and years.
There are those big matches.
Yeah.
What's
your favorite one?
Diamond Dallas Page versus Goldberg back in like 2000. Look it up. Diamond Dallas Page versus Goldberg. Championship match in 2000 WrestleMania. That was the match.
Adam, our VP of marketing.
By the way, you didn't think I was going to answer that, did you?
Yes, I did. Adam, our VP of marketing, told me to ask you that question, and he said, if you give me that exact answer, tell Jeff he's an idiot. So, Jeff, you're an idiot. For me, the answer is Hell in the Cell. It's, what is it? It's like Undertaker and Mankind, I think.
Yeah, anything Undertaker.
Anything from the old, like,
anything
Attitude
Undertaker.
Era, 90s, that's the actual answer.
Yeah. All I remember is the WWF game, Nintendo game growing up.
Oh, it was fun.
And the honky tonk man, you could just literally headbutt people over and over again, and they couldn't, like, it was like a quick move. Yeah, just smoking them, and then they'd fall over and die. So it's like everybody wanted to be Hulk Hogan or, you know, somebody else. No, honky tonk man. Yep.
All right, there you go. That's your hack. So if you ever play your old video games, now you know how to win, courtesy of Teapot. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the show today. And don't forget to check out those Arena Club slab packs. They're live right now in the Arena Club app. Promo code SCI20 for 20% off your first purchase. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon with our next one. Take care.